There's a point where you just stop reacting, not because you're scared or passive, but because you've finally realized most people aren't arguing with you. They're arguing with a version of you they made up in their head. And when that version doesn't flinch or play along, they freak out. That silence, that stillness, it drives them insane. You stop answering texts. You stop justifying normal behavior. You don't post your little life updates for fake applause. Suddenly, people start panicking like you owe them something. That's when you see it. Their connection to you was built on how well they could control the story. And when that control slips, they scramble. Some folks don't want you better. They want you predictable. They want the same version of you that stayed quiet when disrespected, the one who used to fold just to keep the peace. Start changing even a little. Start dressing better, talking with more certainty, saying, "Now I'm good." And you'll see how quickly the compliments turn into criticism. Watch how suddenly everything about you is too much. They'll mask it like concern, like jokes, like teasing, but it's discomfort. You're not entertaining their fragile control anymore. And instead of dealing with their own sheti, it's easier to label you the problem. You're not crazy for pulling back. You're just tired of being someone else's outlet. Most people don't want clarity. They want confusion, because when you're confused, you're easier to manage. Ever notice how when you finally set a boundary, they act like you stabbed them? But where was that energy when they were crossing lines over and over? The silence is power, but it's also confrontation. It forces people to sit with their own behavior, and most can't handle that. So they start building stories. You switched up. Now, you stopped playing dumb. The minute you stop explaining, people panic. Not because they don't understand, but because they do. And it's not flattering. That old friend who always needed the spotlight. They're mad you're not clapping anymore. That ex who thought they could creep back in. They don't know how to play the guilt card if you're not even in the room. Silence isn't passive, it's clarity. It's watching people show their true colors without you even saying a word. It's wild how quickly people reveal their intentions when they think you're not paying attention. But you are. You just don't need to perform anymore. It's funny how people will test you, push you, even disrespect you, then get shocked when you start moving like someone who's had enough. They'll act like you betrayed them just for putting yourself first. It's projection. They know they were treating you like shati, and your silence confirms it. Because now they can't twist your words or misquote your tone. There are no words, just space. And in that space, they're forced to look at what they lost. Not a pushover, not a doormat. A whole person with peace they can't access anymore. Trying to explain yourself to people who've already decided who you are. That's like arguing with a mirror that's cracked. No matter how much truth you spit, it's gonna come back warped. Some people aren't listening to understand. They're listening for weakness, for a chance to poke holes in your growth. And if they can't find any, they'll call you cold, distant, arrogant. But really, they're just mad they don't get a front row seat to your progress anymore. That bothers people more than you think. Not because they care, but because they don't get to control the version of the story they tell others. There's always this phase, right when you stop reacting, where everything gets quiet and weird. You feel like maybe you're doing something wrong. Maybe you were the problem. That's what happens when your identity was tied up in pleasing people. Once that leash is off, the silence can feel like abandonment, but it's not. It's the sound of your energy resetting. Nobody is reaching out anymore. Good. That means the ones who thrived off your confusion are finally starving. Now the real ones, if they exist, they'll stick. Everyone else fades. Let them. You ever notice how calm makes others chaotic? Like, you walk into a room with peace, and suddenly someone needs to start something. That's because your presence triggers their mess. People who live in drama can't stand someone who doesn't feed it. They need reactions, not conversations. So when you stop taking the bait, they'll poke harder. But don't flinch. That's stillness. That's the loudest thing you can offer. It says, I see you. I'm just not interested. And that, more than any argument, bruises egos, especially the ones used to control through guilt, noise, and confusion. Staying calm isn't easy. It's not passive. It's a choice. It's swallowing responses that would have felt good in the moment, but left you drained for weeks. It's walking away when your ego's screaming to stay and win. You don't always get a crowd cheering for your self-respect. Sometimes you only get silence. And that silence will test every part of you that craves validation. But the longer you sit in it, the more you realize peace doesn't need an audience. Most of the loudest people, they're hiding the most. And when you stop trying to be heard by people who never listened, you finally hear yourself. It's not about revenge. Not anymore. It's about understanding that the real win isn't proving them wrong. It's realizing you don't owe them anything in the first place. Not a conversation, not a chance, not even closure. If they wanted understanding, they would have offered it. If they wanted connection, they wouldn't have played games. People show you exactly who they are when they think you'll never walk away. And when you finally do, the game stops. Now it's just them, sitting in a room full of echoes, wondering where the control went. There's this weird shift that happens when you stop chasing the fix. Like when you no longer feel the urge to make peace with someone who thrives off keeping you uneasy. At first, it messes with your head. You think, maybe I should say something. Maybe I should clear the air. But deep down, you know there's nothing to clear. They created smoke to avoid facing their own reflection. And the moment you stop showing up to explain the fire, the smoke clears on its own. That's when you realize most of the chaos wasn't yours. You just kept standing too close to it. What people don't tell you is how peaceful it feels when you finally stop giving people the benefit of the doubt they never earned. It's not about being bitter. It's about being done. Not louder, not colder, just done. And when you're done, you don't slam doors. You just stop opening them. No posts, no explanations, no little hints. You just stop showing up for anyone who made loyalty feel like pressure and love feel like debt. That kind of silence doesn't need applause. It just needs consistency. And when you stay in that peace long enough, people start to understand they can't manipulate what they can't reach. Eventually, the people who used to throw dirt on your name realize you were the ground they stood on. The texts get more polite. The tone softens. Suddenly you're missed and misunderstood. But that's not regret. That's access being denied. And for the first time, you see it clearly. They didn't lose you because you changed. They lost you because they didn't think you ever would. That's the twist. You didn't become harder. You just stopped making it easy. And when your peace becomes more important than their comfort, that's when the real power shows up. Quiet, unbothered, unavailable.